This time I call the November meeting of the County Commission to order. I ask the county attorney if he would give us our invocation. Commissioner Henderson, the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, as always, we thank you for an opportunity to come together to do the work of the people of Lincoln County. We ask that you continue to give us each your wisdom and your direction to do what is right for you ultimately, but what is right for the people of Lincoln County. We ask that you bless each and every person who's here tonight, give them a safe return home. We ask that you bless our county, bless our state, and especially in this time of turmoil, bless our country, Lord. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there a motion that the minutes be approved as print and sent it to you?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as stated.
There's a second to the motion.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion is carried. Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Nothing is to be added. Is that correct, other than Ms. Stewart?
Yes, sir.
She can come under that department report. We're going to add an E. That's what you wanted me to do.
Yes, sir.
You would add an E, and that would be from the UGA extension. That motion that we approve the agenda
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
with that correction. Second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Clyde. Any discussion on the motion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, and the motion is carried. Item 6 is departmental reports. Office of Emergency Services, Director Broom.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. You have my written report. I have two very brief corrections on the average response time. That should be 9.8 minutes. And the total COVID cases are 256. Other than that, I have nothing to add and entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions to Director Broom?
I have one, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Wade.
Director Broom, last month you had a great report on collections. I noticed this one is down some. Is that true?
In which specific area? In terms of collections from the collection agency or overall revenue?
Overall.
Yes, sir. There's a wave of revenues where they go up and down in the election year and the time of year we see some dips towards the end of the year. It'll come back up.
I thought it might have something to do with the pandemic, but
I would be guessing if I said that it did or did not.
okay. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions to Director Broom? If not, thank you. 6B is the Recreation Department, Director Glaze. Director Glaze is not here. I think you have your report, though. I know you do. You have his report in your book. Of course, this is beginning to be the time that the seasons are closed as far as outdoor activities, and we'll be discussing and debating. I hope basketball will be able to continue later on in the month, but we might have to hit that again in between now and sometime in December. 6C is the Finance Department, Director Dawson.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioners, you have my report. Just want to let you know that we've been working over the last couple of weeks with our auditors to finalize our FY20 audit, and usually that report will be available sometime after the first of the year, but everything went well as far as getting them the materials that they need on the audit, and I don't really have anything else to add.
Okay, any questions from the members to Director Dawes? If not, thank you, and you have all of his reports in this book. 6D is the Public Works Department, Director Seymour.
Chairman, members of the board, you have my written reports. I did add a report, so when you're flipping through, y'all have been asking me about new residential dwellings by district. I did add that report this month. I'm going to do a little tweaking to it so you can actually see where those homes are at. Right now, they're kind of referenced by permit number. It doesn't give you any indication in your district where they're actually located. So I'm going to tweak that report, and hopefully by next month you'll have a little better report. But that does give you a total of how many we have currently. But it also gives you a breakdown by district. And it looks like we're on track to better what we did last year at this point.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Wade.
Director Seymour, could you include in that report the value of the permit on this property, on the houses, residential?
I can do that, but just understand that when I do that, that the evaluation of that home is generally based on the information that they provide to us. Is sometimes not accurate. It's not like a tax assessment.
I understand.
But yes, I can certainly include that on there, yes, sir. Be glad.
Most cases it's going to be understated, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay, thanks, sir. You may not want to do that, though.
I'll be glad to do that. Just understand when you get it, it may be undervalued based on what they're giving us. A lot of people think that our permits are based on value, and they're not. They're based on square footage and some other entities, but they're not based on value. So a lot of people will undervalue the house to try to get the permit lowered. It doesn't work that way, so.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Clyde.
I was just saying, I like this report. It's informative. I actually thought District 3, you left something out, but, I mean, it does let you know where the growth is and what's happening, so.
Yes, sir. And like I said, I'll be glad to give you addresses where you can kind of see what areas of your district are growing a little bit more, and some are going to be a little more sporadic, so. And one thing I do want to add too, in that report, understand as well, District 2, the reason it is low as it is because District 2 encompasses most of the city limits, and we don't have those numbers. So, there may very well be more homes in District 2, but they may be inside the city limits, and we don't have those numbers. So,
Any other questions? Thank you.
yes, sir.
The addition is from the University of Georgia Extension. While she's coming, let me make 2 comments. One is, Director Dockery, you're dead on the money with this PA system. Can you all hear it good out there? Well, I can't hear, and you got me where I can hear, so. Good job. This lady that has approached the podium just took off here a few weeks ago and won a bunch of awards on her own for the job she's doing. I don't know how many of you saw that. I did, and I commented on it. Did you see that? So we are proud of Ms. Stewart. She's done a good job in leading our extension office. She is employed by 3 people, the University of Georgia, Board of Education, the Board of Commissioners. So we congratulate you on what you're doing and hope you just continue. And I think you're going to give us some good news tonight. So it's your floor.
Well, thank you. I wouldn't be able to do my job without y'all's support, so we certainly appreciate it. And I've got 2 quick orders of business. The first is I wanted to introduce our new 4-H program assistant, Miss Joanna Stone. She is with me tonight. She is going to be in charge of running our 4-H club meetings as well as establishing some new clubs and opportunities for our students. So we're really excited to have her and for what that's going to look like as she gets her feet on the ground with us. So,
Welcome aboard.
there you go. The second order of business that I had, y'all know that last year I began pursuing some grant opportunities to install a nature trail and pollinator garden at our new location at the County Rec Department. We have actually just been selected by Georgia Power for the recipient for a $15,000 grant through the Legacy Project work that they do, and that is for installation of that nature trail and outdoor classroom. And you should have that grant proposal in front of you, and that will outline what that'll look like. So it's my understanding that you will take this next month to review it, and then we will approve or disapprove the acceptance of the grant at the next meeting, correct?
Okay,
Is that correct?
that's great.
Do you have any questions on that grant or on what that looks like?
Any questions to Ms. Stewart?
I was going to ask one.
Mr. Clyde?
Is it, do we have any in-kind labor or anything on that? We have to do anything at all?
There is some. So originally, we had discussed with Robbie Seymour about the county having the equipment to clear the trail in the space for the nature classroom. The $15,000 will be used for the materials in that outdoor classroom, the tables and seats, the signage, as well as the installation of all of the gardens. And they are actually using it as a volunteer project and a service opportunity, so they will be doing a lot of the labor for us.
Thank you.
Any other questions to Ms. Stewart? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7 is the part where we go into our public hearing to take a special use request from planning and zoning. I need a motion that we go into a public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
That's second.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, second by Commissioner Wade. Any discussion on the motion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. We're in executive session. Director Seymour. Public hearing.
On November the 9th, the Planning Commission heard the following request. Samuel and Elizabeth Fausch, is that right? Fausch? Map 33, parcel 34, which is better known as 1030 Williams Road. It consists of 2.84 acres, currently zoned as A1 agriculture. The request is for a special use to operate a dog kennel as well as live on the property too. They currently have, I think, 9 kennels currently today, and they will maintain those for a period of time. I think you have a business plan in your packet as well that's got a phased, how they're going to phase this thing in. And so the recommendation from my planning commission was for approval unanimously, and there was no one at my commission meeting that was against the rezoning.
Okay, we have a recommendation from the Planning Commission to grant the special use request for the applicant at map 33, parcel 34, 1030 Williams Road, 2.84 acres, A1 zoning district, agriculture. At this time, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of the zoning request that we're about to vote on? Anyone here that wants to speak in favor of it? Okay, it's not. Is anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this request from the Planning Commission? There being none, is there a motion that we accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission, grant the special use?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Clyde, second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion?
I had one.
Commissioner Clyde.
I tried to do something like this similar about, I guess, 15 or 16 years ago, and I hadn't recovered from all the opposition I had yet. So, anyway, congratulations.
You got reelected.
Yeah.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed to the motion, let it be known by saying no. We hadn't got any, so the motion's carried. Congratulations. Y'all are welcome to stay for the entire meeting, or you are welcome to leave at any point in time you want to go. So we understand if you do leave, but. Okay, item number 8, huh?
We need to come out of public hearing, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we should do, and I write that down every time I look at that. Got it in green. Got all my directions given to me, and I forget. There a motion that we come out of the public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
That's second.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Wade, that we come out of the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known, saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, motion is carried, and they took me up on my request to leave. Okay, item number 8 is Tech Life and Civic Grant from the Elections Director Bolton. You want to speak on this? And I know we talked it at the work session. Here's what I think we're doing. You're welcome to come if you want to, but I would like to ask the commission to vote to table this indefinitely. Indefinitely don't mean indefinitely. That means until it's called back up by me or 2 of the commissioners, which that will be done probably between now and next month, if not next month. The reason for this is for us to look at it a little more, look at the recount, what it's going to cost. That was what I would recommend, that we're not throwing it completely out, we're just going to put it off for a few weeks. And that is my recommendation, and I'm going to ask for a motion that we table it indefinitely.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion on the motion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion is carried. Are you busy in the morning, or y'all through? Ma'am? Okay, come see me when you get a chance. Okay. All right. Item number 8 is the request to apply for USDA grant loan for a sheriff's vehicle and purchase of a second vehicle. Captain Leighton Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman Norman, County Commissioners. I've been working with Director Dawes for the past couple of weeks on trying to find sheriff's vehicles. He actually came to me with the commission about the USDA grant. So I'm highly in favor of that, anything to help the Lincoln County taxpayers as much as we can. We're currently looking at purchase of a Dodge Charger. It'll be a 2021. It'll be brand new off the line. Estimate delivery time is about 12 weeks for the one vehicle. It's listed base price of $24,715. And then we'll also be looking down the line if we get the grant. I believe it's 35% of the cost of the vehicle. I'm not exactly sure. Director Dawes will probably give you that exact figure. But then we'll be looking at purchasing another Charger at the same base price. This is a state contract price out of Atkins Ford Dodge in Winder, Georgia. And they have a state contract on that. That's where Columbia County and McDuffie County and all the counties order their vehicles from.
Okay, what we're voting on now is to purchase this vehicle from splosh tax. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the other one's CARES. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What we're voting on is that we purchase this, Robbie, I saw that. That we purchase this, I can't hear, but I can see. That we purchase this vehicle from our splash money that we put into the budget every year in the amount of $24,715. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr.
Is
Chairman.
there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, second by Commissioner Clyde. Any discussion on the motion?
Got a question, Mr.
Commissioner Wade.
I just compliment you and the Sheriff's Department for elevating your standards up, keeping everything up to date, supporting your deputies.
Yes, sir.
And even though we're a small county and money's tight, we just have to spend money to do those things.
Yes, sir. We always do. We have to keep our deputies first. They're gonna be on the front line, and they're gonna keep us safe, and we always have to back them up with the best, maybe not necessarily the best, but the most economical equipment that's best for us and best for the county. So, we always try to do that and stay at the forefront.
Well, if we don't take care of them with, be linked with Columbia County and Richmond County, with all the money they have, and giving their sheriffs $50,000 raises, we'll be left out in the cold, so we gotta do it.
You know, personally, I believe the county commissioners in the last 3 or 4 years have been to the forefront to help public safety, especially in our sheriff's office with our deputies, our dispatchers, and our jailers. The county commissioners have been over backwards to kind of update the salaries and get us to the forefront to where we need to be. And I believe it shows in the deputies that we have.
Good.
Thank you. Any other questions to Captain Taylor, Commissioner Henderson?
I just want to be sure I'm correct. We're talking about buying 2 cars?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, and
We're buying 1 car now. The other one's coming up next item. We are buying this car out of our splosh funds.
okay,
So
so
we're
we're just
approving-
voting on 1 car right now?
Right, we're voting on 1 car from the, to be paid out of splosh. The next one, we're gonna vote on another car
Okay, all right,
that comes in with the ambulance.
okay.
But it'll be the same, it'll be
And-
coming from the same dealership or the state contract, same price.
This is, so you know this, I know what you talked about, we discussed at the work session last week, we'd be purchasing 2 cars and 1 would be, but I've been told we got to do it this way, so this is a little bit of change in what we talked about last Thursday, but the end result's the same. Mr. Clyde?
I was just gonna say, for the record, we buying the Hemi, right?
Yes, sir.
And
We're gonna go with the V8 Hemi 5.7 rear drive. They're actually gonna start making these vehicles. The Atkins does not have any on the lot at this time. They'll start making these vehicles in December, and they will be available in February for pickup. So we won't actually be able to pick it up until February.
I was hoping you'd get the V6, maybe I could outrun it, you know, because it's kind of line, but you might have trouble beating the Hemi.
Yeah.
Commissioner Clyde, is Hemi though, it's 3-speed on the collar.
Not the 60s, all right.
All in favor of the motion, let it be known, saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, motion is carried. Captain Taylor, if you would, don't leave yet, because we're coming up with item 10.
Yes, sir.
And you'll be included in this too. You might not have to talk, but you might have to.
I think I'll turn that over to Director Broom.
I just don't want you going home too quick.
No.
Item 10 is a request for the USDA grant loan for an ambulance and a car. And this was all came up a little bit. I'm not gonna blame this one on Sharon, I'm gonna blame this one on Ernie. All right, now we coming up with the USDA loan grant part of an ambulance and a sheriff's car. It could be up to 35%, could be 25%, but anyway, Director Brown.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, we need to accept the low quote of $157,183 from Emergency Vehicle Sales in Elkton, Georgia for an AEV ambulance. And then the second part of that is giving me permission to write the USDA grant loan along with Director Dawson. And probably Ms. McKellar will be involved, and you will, Mr. Chairman. But the first order of business is to accept that quote, and then give me permission to write the grant, and if y'all want details, I have of the combined grant, I have those numbers.
Okay, let me get it straight for the motion. included in this, we're doing $157,183.75. Is that what you just said?
Yes, that includes the ambulance and the stretcher.
All right. But that part does not include the sheriff's vehicle, right?
No, sir.
All right. Are we gonna have them two in the same motion?
Yep. You,
I think,
Yes, sir. You
Mr.
agreed.
Jackson, you did say we could do it in the same motion for the car and the ambulance?
Yes, sir.
permission, we're accepting the quote from emergency vehicle sales, and the board is authorizing me to seek the grant from USDA.
Is that just for the ambulance? Is that, are we gonna come back and do one for the sheriff car too?
They'll be combined.
What's the total amount?
The total amount of the two vehicles combined, including the stretcher, makes it a $181,898 grant application. If it's funded at 25%, that's a $45,474 grant with a loan balance of $136,424.
25% is what?
45,474 in grant, 136,424 in loan balance.
And 35% is what?
$63,664 in a grant, $118,293 in a loan balance. And of course, there's some change in there of 75 cents, I think, one way or the other. What's good here is our previous two USDA grant loans for the ambulance, and then with the cardiac monitors, we were funded at 35%. I can't guarantee that will be the case with this grant, but we can always hope.
Okay, Commissioner Henderson, when we were in our meeting Thursday, we just had the ambulance in this USDA loan.
Okay.
One of these directors, I forget which one it was, told me the next day, I believe after Friday or Monday, I think it was Friday, but anyway, that we should go ahead and add the sheriff's vehicle into this same application and see if we can, that we were gonna buy out of the CARES money, that now that we can get 25 or 35% of that in a grant part of it also. That's the reason it changed a little bit on you. Okay. So now with, What'd you say?
I wasn't talking to you, sir. Talking out of place.
I gotta pull my book out. Okay, to be sure we all know what we're voting on, we are giving you the authority to apply with the United States Department of Agriculture for a loan grant application to purchase up to 35% for an ambulance and a sheriff's vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes, sir. And we are also accepting the quote, the low quote from emergency vehicle sales for the ambulance.
Okay, so that's included in the motion, Sherry, if you got all that, that we accept the emergency vehicle sales in the amount of the
$157,000, or $157,183.
and 75 cents.
And that includes the stretcher.
Okay. Are we all clear?
Yes, no, sir.
Yes, sir. I got it now.
Okay, Commissioner Collins, you can question whoever you want to.
I want to know the nearest thousand. The cost for the ambulance, the stretcher, and the car.
Okay. The cost of the ambulance without the stretcher is $145,266.
I'm sorry, Director, I may have said this wrong. All I want to know is the total cost of the ambulance, the stretcher, and the deputy's car.
The total cost is $181,898.
And we're going to try to get 25% of this through grant money.
25 to 35%, depending on how they award.
The last ambulance we did, first part of this year, we got 35%, didn't we?
Yes, and we got
We
35%.
are hoping we getting 35, but we won't get less than 25.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I was gonna ask one real quick.
Commissioner Clyde.
So the stretcher, it's like $11,000. Is that is that working?
Yes, sir, the cost of it is, it's a Stryker Pro, it's not, it's, powered stretcher that, is $11,917. Either company would install that stretcher and at that cost.
All right.
Commissioner Wade?
I need to ask a question too. Does that include the striping of the
Yes.
two vehicles?
Yes.
It does. Thanks, sir. That's all I got.
That's why a trip to the hospital costs so much money, isn't it? It was expensive.
Is that correct, Captain Taylor? These are not the vehicles that's gonna have the striping in them.
No, sir.
Come back up here. The ambulance will.
Ambulance will, the sheriff's deputy.
It might well come to this, because it won't get you.
Well, you're talking while I'm walking. The sheriff's deputy car will not, but we have striped deputy cars in the past, and it's between $300 and $350. If they're plain cars without any striping on them, and we don't have to take anything off, it's between $300 and $350. And it's done by RKO out of Athens.
They do include all the other stuff in it, right? The sirens and all?
In this,
No, in the ambulance it does.
oh, in the ambulance it does.
But in your vehicles, your two vehicles, it does none of that. That is about a $5,000 to $6,000 additional cost. I don't know which one y'all answered. That's a good answer. Now, good question. What the sheriff has done is he's got condemned funds that goes to them that they can spend at their discretion. What they have done is the sheriff and Captain Taylor have talked to us that they would pay for the striping of one of these vehicles out of the condemned funds, which wouldn't come from us. The other vehicle, we budgeted $40,000 for, which includes striping of the vehicle and all, but the vehicle is $27,000, whatever it is. Plus, we will have about $4,000 more included in that for the striping and putting the radios and all that.
Yes,
Probably
sir.
take a radio out of another car, but you got to put the cages and all that.
Yeah, so we'll take the radio out of the current cars, that we're taking out to the county shop, and then, of course, the cages don't fit. But the good news is with us going forward with the Chargers is that as we move along the line, we'll be able to swap the equipment out of these old cars where we can't use them and swap them into the new cars. Because Dodge Chargers, as far as the size and everything like that, have not changed in the last 4 or 5 years. So you can use the same cage, the same lights, and that's what we did on the last 2 cars. When we bought the cars from Columbia County, we put 2 cars out of the county shop. We took everything out of those cars and put them in the cars we got from Columbia County.
And that's what we've been trying to work to between us and the sheriff's office, is that we get the vehicles that are the same so we can exchange and not be, that's where it's gonna be a little close. It has cost much as $8,000 to do a car. Let me ask a question, Director Dawes. If we got all this, does that striping need to be included in this vote, or once we get the vehicle and know what striping, we don't know what striping is yet, the reason we didn't put it in?
No, sir, that's correct. All we want to vote on here is purchasing the car at $24,715 plus the cost of the ambulance, which is that's already included in the cost of the ambulance. So, no, sir.
And in February or something, when they get the car and get the price of what it costs, then they'll come back for that additional, but it's all within the budget. Really, it's gonna be less than the budget, since they're gonna spend some condemned funds and help us out.
Yes. And by law, we can do that for equipment. So it's not as we need to spend it, but it's for equipment, so we can spend it.
Are the commissioners clear?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all clear? You two clear? All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
We didn't have a motion.
We didn't have a motion, did we?
We approved it anyway.
Okay, y'all heard all that stuff. Is there a motion that we approve the purchase of these two vehicles. I thought we did have a motion, these two vehicles, and to give him the authority to file for the USDA loan grant. And we didn't have a motion for
I don't
that.
have any initials written down tonight.
We got a motion by Commissioner Henderson, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion? I hope not. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, the motion is carried. If you have any discussion, go see one of these people. I think we got it though, don't you? Oh, that got complicated. It didn't take that long the other night, did it? Okay, well, I think we got you. Thank you, Captain Taylor.
This has got to come back.
Okay. Y'all, I got me confused. Item 11 is a request to apply for a firehouse sub-grant. That will feed us all for 6 months.
Commissioner meetings,
Yeah.
at the commissioner meetings.
Director Brown.
Firehouse subs has long been, well, they're formed by firefighters, and they had a grant program for years. We did not qualify for it because we weren't close enough to one for a long period of time, but now we are close enough to one. I would like to seek permission to submit a grant to Firehouse to purchase 3 SCBA's, self-contained breathing apparatus, that we go into fires with at the cost of $21,331. There is no match for this grant. This will buy 3. If we are successful with the grant, I will approach the board and request SPOS funds to purchase the 4th. The fire truck requires 4. It also includes a spare bottle for every breathing apparatus.
Okay, how much are you asking for us to approve for you to apply for?
$21,331.
And 50 cents.
It's, that's right.
You can always find 50 cents.
These finance folks like to ask them 50 cents and 49 cents. Okay, we're voting to give him the authority to apply for the grant.
That's correct.
I so move.
The
Mr.
firehouse grant. Got a motion by Commissioner Clyde. Is there a second?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion on the motion? Chair is none. All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion is carried. And I'd like the way Commissioner Clyde moves me on.
We got to thank you about them salads, those sandwiches down there.
All right. Item 12 is a closeout 2011 special purpose local option sales tax. Director Doss.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioners, the 2011 SPLOST has $3,816.98, which was in the recreation project. The intergovernmental agreement between the county and the city says that if the funds remain after 5 years, then they would be declared excess. We actually have until 2023 to spend these funds, but it's taken a couple of extra accounting steps. We actually haven't spent anything out of this fund in over 12 months, and so I'm asking the Board of Commissioners to close the 2011 SPLOST and declare these funds excess. We would move them into the general fund. And that is $3,816.98. All of the other projects have been closed out except for this one.
Okay, I think we know. He's asking that we close out 2011 splosh, put it into the general fund, the amount of $3,816.98. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is that second?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion? Chair is none. All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. The motion is carried. All right, moving right along to item number 13, solid waste administration fee. Director Doss.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, as we had discussed during the work session, over the last 7 years, we have not moved out all of our administrative fees that we've been collecting over solid waste, and so that we've built up those fees, and would like your permission to move there's about $200,000 of those administrative fees that we've actually paid through the general fund. So really what we're doing is reimbursing the general fund for funds that we've spent out over the last 7 years, and I'm requesting your permission to move $200,000 out of the solid waste fund to reimburse the general fund for administration fees.
Is it 200 or 241?
The total is 241. I would like to leave a cushion in there just for some other things, so I'm asking for $200,000 is what we
200
talked
even
about.
then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you heard the request from the finance director that we move $200,000 from solid waste to the general fund that we had done in so many years.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
That's second.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Clyde, second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion? There is none. All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, motion's carried. Item number 14, award the bid paving, grading, and drainage. Director Seymour.
Yes, sir, Chairman, members of the board, we actually opened bids on Tuesday for this project, and unfortunately, we only had one bidder that bidded, and they were well outside of our range of bids that we were comfortable with. So what I'm asking for is y'all to deny all of the bids, and we're going to rebid the project, tweak it a little bit, and make sure that we have more than one bidder. So I would ask that y'all reject the bid from, I believe it was Reeves, for
$309,215?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we discussed this the other day at the work session, but at the work session, we didn't have the bids, and we were hoping we'd have more bids to come in, and we didn't. So we're wanting to reject the only bid we got from Reeves, and we'll probably rebid it.
Yes, sir, we will rebid it.
Okay, is there a motion that we reject the bid from Reeves Construction amount of $309,215?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
That's second.
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? That is on Cherokee Country Club Road and a portion of Price Road.
That is correct.
So let that go into the minutes, clerk. That's what we rejected bid on the road that went on that road. All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, motion's carried. Item 15 is the core fees for Indian Cove, Director Seymour.
Yes, sir. You have a letter in your packet, something else we talked about in the work session. We have a 1.89 acre easement from the Corps of Engineers on a water line easement that we have going to Indian Cove. And every 30 years, we have to renew that easement, and with doing so, we have to pay an administrative fee, and it's listed in here at $4,400. Those fees would be paid for out of the water fund, and then once the administrative part is done, they will come back to us with a fair market value of the property, and then we'll have to make a second payment, which will come back before you. But would like to get approval tonight to go ahead and move forward with the $4,400 administrative fee with the Corps of Engineers.
Okay, you heard the request that we pay the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers $4,400 paid for from the water revenue funds for an easement across Indian Cove Road. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Clyde. Any discussion on the motion? There is none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion's carried. Item 16 is a tank monitoring system. Director Seymour.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go a little
Before you
bit.
start, let me tell them to listen close. This was not in the work session. This is something that we haven't really got into. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. This is not something we've discussed, so I'm going to go in a little more detail on what we're doing here. Currently, at the county shop, we have two underground storage tanks, one for diesel and one for unleaded fuel. And so the state requires us to monitor those tanks for certain parameters. One of them being how much fuel is in there. Number two is there's some leak detection in there, so there are actually sensors and probes in the ground that monitor ground and moisture, so that if we have a leak in those underground tanks, it'll alarm it and send us an alarm that there's a problem. It also measures the amount of water in those tanks with condensation and those things. So this piece of equipment was replaced in 2012 when we did the mass upgrade of our fuel system. And the life expectancy of this monitor is actually 7 to 10 years. So we're in the 8th year, almost going into the 9th year. There's a problem that Director Doss actually found with the monitoring system, and it's not calculating the gallons correctly for a simpler look at things. So this is a newer product. We're going to get a $1,000 rebate, I think, if you see on there, for the old unit. But what I would like to ask is that y'all would approve us to spend the $9,480 to replace that piece of equipment right now. I'm not able to get reports that I need to submit to EPD on a monthly basis, which comes from this piece of equipment. So the sooner we get it updated, the better we are. Mr. Jackson has looked at this. He has some concerns with the way it's written on the 2nd and 3rd pages. And so what we would like to ask is that y'all approve this amount, and me and Mr. Jackson will work through the specifics and the wording of the contract moving forward.
You did say to be paid out of
It will be paid out of T-Splosh, yes, sir.
T-Splosh. Okay, the motion needs to read, I think, Mr. Jackson, that we have a motion to approve the payment of $9,840.
$480.
$9,480, what mine said. What's
Yeah,
yours?
you said 840.
Oh, I'm sorry. $9,480, based on the fact that Director Seymour and Attorney Jackson comes up with something on the contract that would give me the authority to sign. Is that right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and it's just some wording that I feel uncomfortable with. I think we can tweak that and get it fixed.
Okay. Everybody understand the motion? Is there a motion then that we approve this based on the county attorney approving the contract?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
That's second.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Clyde, second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion? There is none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion's carried.
Thank you.
Item 17 is the alcoholic beverage license renewals. Clerk McKellar.
Yes, sir. We have several businesses that have met all their requirements for their alcohol renewal license, and we'll need to approve these individually. The first one will be for Mr. Sam Patel for LW's Bait and Tackle for a Class A license, beer and wine off premises.
Okay, you heard the request from the clerk on Sam Patel at LW's Bait Tackle. There a motion that we renew his application.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Clyde. Any discussion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion's carried. Clerk McKellar.
Yes, sir. The second one is Mr. Kyle McLeod, doing business as Back Paddle Brewing for a Class E brewery license with consumption on premises.
You heard the request from the clerk, Mr. Kyle McLeod, doing business as Backpack Brewing LLC. Is there a motion that we renew his application?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion on the motion? There is none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion is carried. Mr. Jason, Clerk McKellar.
The next one is Mr. Jason Rayford for Clients Crossing for a Class A license, beer and wine off premises.
Okay, you heard the request, Mr. Jason Rayford on the Clyde's Crossing. Is there a motion that we renew this one?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion on the motion? There is none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
I abstain, Mr. Chairman.
And the motion is carried with the abstention of Commissioner Clyde. Clerk McKellar.
Mr. Al Holloway for Rocky Branch Golf Course for a Class C license, liquor, beer and wine on premises.
Okay, you hear a request from Mr. Holloway at Rocky Branch Golf Course.
I made that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Clyde, second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Wade?
Yes, sir, I was trying to make all those motions because I noticed all these beer drinkers are in my district. So, yeah, I'll approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, like sign, and the motion's carried. Item 18 is the ACCG Health Promotion and Wilderness Grant, Clerk McKellar.
Yes, sir, I'd like y'all to accept the $500 grant we've received from ACCG. It's for health.
Let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, like sign, motion carried, we stand adjourned. Is there a motion that we accept the Health Promotion and Wellness Grant from the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, amount of $500?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, is there a second?
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Clyde, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion on the motion? There is none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion's carried. The next one is item 19, Bateman contract for nutrition services at the Department of Leisure Services, Clerk McKellar.
Yes, sir, this is a renewal of the contract we have with Bateman, and they supply the meals for our seniors. Just asking you permission from the commissioners for you to sign this contract and the resolution.
Okay, we talked about this the other day, it's the same thing we do every year. Is there a motion to give me the authority to sign the contract and the resolution with Bateman for food services for the senior citizens?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, second by Commissioner Clyde. Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I have one quick question.
Commissioner Clyde.
It's like $4.45 per meal or something is what we came with, I think, is what it costs us.
Yes, sir, that's our cost per
Is
meal.
that, who delivers that? Do we have to deliver it to county?
They bring them to the senior center, and our transit drivers deliver them to the
Deliver,
seniors
okay.
at home right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, the motion is carried. Item 20 is board appointments, Department of Family and Children's Services, Commissioner Wade.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a lady who has volunteered to take that appointment with Family and Children's Services. Her name is Faye, F-A-Y-E, Dotson, D-O-T-S-O-N.
Okay, Commissioner Wade is requesting to appoint Ms. Faye Dotson to the Department of Family and Children's Services Board to fill the unexpired term of Ms. Gail Flanagan, who resigned due to the fact that she moved from District 3 to District 4 to District 2. I think her remaining time left on this one is June of next year, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there a motion made by Commissioner Wade, is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Commissioner Collins, any discussion on the motion? There is none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion is carried, and Ms. Dotson will be notified, as well as the Director of the Family and Children's Services. Item 20B is Tax Assessors Board, Commissioner Wade.
Yes, I'm still working on that one. If I can't come up with someone I think that's well qualified and would like to serve in that position, I may leave that for our Mr. Stan Tankersley to appoint someone.
That's a hard one to get somebody for.
Yes, sir.
I had something I was gonna say, but I forgot what it was.
We'll make quarter.
Aren't y'all glad?
The school, 1 week school, isn't it?
Yes, tough school.
I forget what it was, it'll come back up to me one of these days. I was gonna compliment somebody and I forgot who it was.
Me, probably.
Probably was. Okay, is there a motion that we adjourn?
I made the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, is there a second? Motion by Commissioner Clyde, second by Commissioner Henderson.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion on the motion? Chair hears none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion is carried. We stand adjourned.